Good morning! Matt here from theshavingcadre.com, otherwise known as Lukey3262. I am going to be shaving with my 14th TDS Cosmetic Shaving Soap today. And today I'm going to be shaving with notes of Lilac Native, also known as Lilac 19. And I really like the scent of this soap. Just a fantastic lilac hit to your face. I think it's fantastic. I'm excited to shave with this one today. And I've got a couple other products to go with it that kind of match. My aftershave today is a gift from one of my friends, my friend Mike. I met him whenever I lived at the Lake of the Ozarks. He sent me some Gabels Lilac. So actually I've never tried this before. Granted, I've smelled it in the bottle whenever I transferred it over to the glass bottle. But it smells awesome. It's gonna match really well. And then another new product, which I think I brought up and mentioned this last video, is Archibald Sisters Lilac Aftershave Balm. Last time I used the eucalyptus menthol, or eucalyptus mint. And these are all aloe vera based aftershave balms, and you know, it's pretty great. I tried it last time. The scent was pretty fleeting, but I did enjoy it. I also picked up their cedar scent, so I'm looking forward to using that in a future shave. And of course, I've got the sticker from Archibald Sisters that they sent along. Very nice of them. Links in the description for all products that I'll be using, but I'm excited about that. Now the razor for today, I'm going to be using a vintage CV Heljestrand MK32, excuse me, MK31. This is an MK31. She's the 5/8 version. Not the most perfect one that I own. She's got a few love marks on her from many years of use, but it should be ready to go. Also, I'll be using possibly one of my oldest shaving brushes. This is a Somogue Owner's Club Boar, which is probably somewhere around 8 years old, I think. So I'll go ahead and get started. And again, I usually do about 35-second loads for this soap. And there we go. And with it being a Boar brush, I might do just 30 seconds. Let me see. But I sampled this one out pretty well. I don't think I really had many people make any comments about the lilac. But I guess I'll take a look at the sample thread on the Shaving Cadre as to what other folks thought about it, or rather, maybe I'll send a message to the folks that did get it so we could find out how they liked it. But we're about to find out. I would assume that the lathering on this would be pretty similar to what I've been getting out of the others, and yeah, it's gonna work up just fine. So that's about 30. I think that was right about 35 seconds actually. I think I went over because I was talking. But again, Lilac 19. And all right, let's go ahead and get started. Looks like I'm at right about 36 hours since my last shave. And I'd say the scent on this is probably a moderate. I wouldn't say it's super strong, but it's very nice engulfing my face scent, as opposed to some of those soaps that you get into that they just, you know, they're there. You know, you got a scent, but it's not, you can't really discern it much on the face. This one, you can really smell it. It's nice. Should have shaved with this one while my lilac bush was still blooming. Now, when I received the soap in the giant package of, I think I got 26 or 28 items from TDS. When I received the soap, my lilac bush was still blooming, and I could tell you, because I had to check after the video, it does smell very much like our lilac bush, like a natural lilac bush. So it's that scent. I believe it has a little bit more, I think it may have some wood notes in it too. Again, I always post the scent notes from TDS in my description, as well as any other soap that I check out. I usually try to post the scent notes and the link to them so that you can check them out. Now, a little bit about the aftershave. Like I said, it was a gift from my friend Mike. He enjoys vintage style barber aftershaves. And so he sent me a lot of stuff over the years that I'd never tried before, including Gabel's Lime, which I'm looking forward to trying. And I always try to, when I get these aftershaves, I try to decant them into a glass bottle. And a lot of folks just keep their aftershaves in a plastic container that they came with. And you know, you can do that, and that's fine. But you know, just like all things, plastic does impart its own essence to the aftershave. And you know, some people, especially with Lilac Vegetal by Pinaud, which is kind of a it's a bracing scent for some folks, and I really enjoy it. I am one of the chosen, but some folks can't stand the way it smells whenever it's in a plastic bottle. Once you decant that aftershave into a glass bottle, it really opens up and becomes a beautiful scent. I believe that as well. And ever since I started decanting Lilac Vegetal, I started trying that with all my aftershaves. And I think it really improves the overall scent. You don't have any kind of strangeness coming from the plastic. All right, there we go. Lathered it up. I've got a nice wet lather going. It feels great. Wet my sponge here. And again, I mean, this soap's still putting off a really great lavender scent. Not lavender, excuse me, lilac, apologize. Really nice. Actually, I think it is stronger than some of the TDS soaps that I've tried. And pretty happy with that. I like stronger scents. I don't usually shave in the morning, typically because got to get up early and get my son's lunch together, get him dressed, get him fed, and get him packed off to school. Right now he's in summer school. And so my typical shaves are in the late afternoon, evening usually. But yesterday, or not yesterday, this morning, my wife was planning on going into the office, and so she decided to take him to school, so I got a little extra time before I get to work. The edge on this razor is a ancient ocean jasper edge from Natural Whetstone naturalwetstone.com, and it has become one of my favorite stones. Why has it become one of my favorite stones, you ask? Because, for one, it imparts a really keen edge, very similar to a black Arkansas, I'd say. Or excuse me, a surgical black Arkansas. But it is very fast. It's a very fast cutting stone. And it can be used with water, oil, honing solution. And over the years, I've honed quite a few razors. I for a long time I was trying to restore and sell for profit, which that doesn't really work. Well, it does, but it doesn't. And so I've ended up honing several hundred. And when you're honing and you spend an hour or 40 minutes on a finishing stone, and then you try another finishing stone and it only takes about 10 minutes, natural finishing stone that only takes 10 minutes, that's a treat. And especially whenever it gives you a really nice, excellent edge. So that's the reason why I really enjoy the stone. I think it gives a very good keen edge. Very fast, comfortable. And the way I use it is a lot like how a lot of people use their cauticles. They will use it just with plain water, and then running water, and continue until the edge of the razor wants to start sticking really, really well to the stone. Man, that scent's really nice. I mentioned this in another video, you know, my scent likes have changed a lot over the years. You know, at first I started off at the really woody, manly scents, and now I'm edging toward enjoying the rose and lavender and lilac scents a lot more. Now, if you go to that natural whetstone sharpening.com, he does do sales from time to time. The stones aren't super cheap, but I can tell you they're super hard. They'll last you a long time, so you're paying for quality there. Now, I love my morning coffee, and I do not skip it, but if you want to add an extra layer of difficulty to a straight shave, slam 2 full 16-ounce mugs of black coffee, and then go try to shave. I'm getting a little bit of the shaving jitters. And just like all the other TDS shaving soaps, excellent glide, good cushion here. I wetted it down a little extra because I like my lather a little bit more wet on the wet side when I'm straight shaving. And it is doing a great job. And you can definitely still smell it even after you remove all the lather. Now, a little bit about the razor. I had a viewer say that he wanted to know a little bit more about the history of the Heljestrand Razor Company. And they're an interesting manufacturer. They've been around since the early to mid 1800s. If my memory serves. They were a family business for a very long time. And I believe it was the second generation where Carl Victor, why am I drying my face? Carl Victor lent his name to the company. And back then they were making all sorts of cutlery, flatware. Straight razors had always kind of been their number one go-to product. And they were doing really well. And the boys, the sons of the Heljestrand Company, they received grants from the Swedish government to go study metallurgy in both Zollingen and Sheffield. And so they went there, and actually I believe it was Carl Victor, CV, I believe he started a manufacturing facility there in Sheffield. And he ended up producing a different version of cast steel which I believe the Swedish government ended up saying was a they didn't give him a patent on it. Because they view it as a national like a national treasure or a national I don't know what you want to call it. But anyway, they the Swedish king ended up giving him money for that every year. Now, the interesting thing about these Swedish razors is a lot of them have a very similar design. You'll see Jernblogats, and you'll see Tornbloms, and you'll see several of them that have a very similar design to this MK31. They may not have the blood notch. But, yeah. And the reasoning behind that, my understanding from my Swedish friend Polarbeard, Arnie, he said, and I think everything else I've read on it, is that those workers and designs that they had at all the different companies around there in Eskilstuna, Sweden, they shared workers, they shared designs, they shared, as mentioned, steel, and they were all about producing just the most high quality products possible for Sweden for export. Now, Heljestrand held on as a family company for quite a long time. I believe it was over 100 years, or close to 100 years. With many of the family members working at the factory in different, got a few whippers right here. I don't know. Went a little crazy there. In different capacities, mostly in administration is my understanding. Now, my understanding is in the 1920s, there's a French-Swedish entrepreneur by the name of Magnus Kindle who wanted Heljestrand to produce razors for him for sale in France. And along the lines there, he was purchasing production, and then he ended up purchasing the entire company. And so that's where the Royal Kindle razor and the MK come from. That's my understanding. The MK on the MK series comes from Magnus Kindle. Most of those razors were produced for export. The larger ones were produced for export to the United States, but the MK31, which Magnus Kindle produced himself, is my understanding, he pushed that throughout Europe and the United States all over. Locally in Sweden, the smaller variants of razors were most popular. But outside Europe, it was the larger versions. So you're talking the 31, which is a 5/8, and then you're talking the 32, 33, and the 133 and above, so the 8/8. Gonna hit myself a little there's cucumber. Now, the MK series, which is seen as a premium series because it was clad in ivory. It was made actually pretty well all the way through from the 1920s. I believe it was the 1920s, not the 19-teens. I could be wrong about that. 1920s all the way through to the 1960s when Heljestrand ceased operation. Okay, try this down a little bit. But there is definitely a much more interesting and long-form explanation of Heljestrand's history online. There's several places you can find it. All right, so we're gonna do the Gabels Lilac. And again, I really did like the soap there. It did well. And again, on these larger mouth openings on these glass bottles, I like to choke it off with my thumb. I went a little hefty, but that's all right. What a wonderful match for this soap. Wow. A little bit less woody or resinous maybe, but really nice, smooth lilac scent. Quite a bit different than Lilac Vegetal in a lot of ways. Wow, that's really nice scent. It really does match the soap perfectly. I like that a lot. I'm gonna have to maybe order another bottle of that. Fantastic. That looks like the weepers on my upper lip are already sealed up. And then we're gonna use the Archibald Sisters Lilac. And for my last shave, just about enough, maybe a little bit too much. But this stuff dried down pretty well. I expected my face to be slightly tacky, but really it wasn't. It was pretty smooth dry down on it. And it has a much lighter lilac scent to it. But it's already mingled with the Lilac Aftershave and soap. But I smell 100% lilac today. Very nice. All right. So I guess that's my shave today. Didn't really talk about what's going on too much with us or at the Shaving Cadre, but I will say, please like and subscribe. If you like my videos, take a moment, like and subscribe. Check out my friends from the Shaving Cadre's videos. You know, you got Handle Barber Dave, Scuttle Soap, Long Haul Tanker, Nurse Dave. The list goes on there. And please join us on the ShavingCadre.com. It's a great place to come. We have a lot of fun with it. We've got the Sunday Zoom calls, which that's coming up soon. And I'm always looking forward to hanging out with my friends and visiting about shaving and whatever's going on. So anyway, yeah, so always great to see you guys. Thank you again for watching, and I will shave with you later. Take it easy.